What up, Broncos country? Welcome back to the channel. So here to preview the Denver Broncos at the Kansas City Swifties on Thursday Night Football. Vibes going in this game, not very high. Everything I've been reading from the loss yesterday to this morning to tonight, all negative. And, it has the right to be negative. I mean, just how things have been going, it hasn't really looked very well for the Broncos this season. First piece of Bronco news I'm going to start off with here before we go into the actual preview, because I always do that. By the way, wearing the Broncos pullover because when I wore something other than a jersey so far this season, we're undefeated. Even though we beat the Bears, still a win. Every time I wear a jersey in a video, so far I'm 0-4. But when I wear a pullover, we are 1-0. And this is definitely a game that I want, not going to lie. I want the Kansas City and Broncos rivalry to be, fun again. I mean, it's not even fun. It's just so one-sided. It's just, every time I see them, it's just like, there's the Chiefs again. Are we going to actually win this game, or are we just going to, let them extend that streak, So, first bit of Broncos news here, though. This piece right here, obvious. Apparently, the Broncos have the worst defense through 5 games ever, recorded by DVOA metrics. Not surprised, though. It's been really bad, especially the run defense. Like I said in the recap of the Broncos-Jets game, giving up 755 yards in the last, 4 games? Or 800 or something like that. I mean, it's some ridiculous number. Like, it's really bad. Like, and the crazy thing is, this is basically the same core of defensive players from last year, but you bring in Vance Joseph and they have to learn a whole new scheme. It's just been ugly. They don't. The guys that are on the team, they obviously do not fit his scheme, and it's turned them into one of the best defenses last year into one of the worst defenses of all time this year. Saw this as well. Broncos could finally be on the brink of a teardown, which there was reports this morning that that's what was being heard. I've been saying it for a few weeks now. I believe after the Washington game, that's when I was kind of like, okay, I think now is probably the time to consider a full rebuild. This roster, if you can't beat Washington or Vegas at home, then the roster isn't good enough to compete. That's just the bottom line. This is the simple truth. Especially if the Broncos lose this game, those, rumors are going to get even louder. There's already, list of players that they're saying the Broncos could trade away. And I guess we'll get into it right now. Kind of want to hear Broncos country's thoughts on, these trade targets. Not really targets because we're trading one way, but anywho, the first one they're saying is they could trade left tackle Garrett Holds. He's 31 years old. They drafted him when he was like 25 years old. He is an old dude who hasn't played much in the NFL. I believe it was 6th year. So he is under contract for next season. He's a $17.8 million cap hit. $20 million cap hit next season. So, he might be traded. The line already kind of stinks. So it's like, I don't know. Are you trying to get even worse at offensive line, but is what it is. Let's see. Outside linebacker Frank Clark is another. I wouldn't mind if they got rid of him. He's 30. I'd rather go with the, youth at edge rusher. And, get some draft picks for him. Send him to a contender. Same with, and then the third one, Justin Simmons. Yes, he's going to turn 30 next month. And unfortunately, he's worked his tail off. He's been a part of a losing franchise, unfortunately, since he's been drafted. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, he was with us when we had the 9-7 record, but that's his only winning record as a Denver Bronco. That's pretty bad. I'd like to, take best offer available, get some picks, send him to a contender. He deserves it. Fourth and fifth is Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton. To be honest, I really don't want to trade both. If one gets traded, though, I feel like they're going to trade Jerry Jeudy. He's 24 years old. I believe Court is 28. So, obviously, more value there. He's younger. And I just don't feel like the Broncos use him right. I feel like he's a much better receiver than what's shown on paper. And I guarantee if he gets traded to another team, like a contender, they'll use him right and he'll go off. But, I wouldn't be too upset if they got rid of Jerry Jeudy. Obviously I would. I don't want him to be traded, but it's a business. I understand that aspect of it. I have his jersey, so that's another thing. It's like I really don't want to see him go because I spent a lot of money on that jersey. But, Marvin Mims I feel like would be a good Jerry Jeudy replacement. I don't feel like Marvin Mims and Jerry Jeudy on the same field together is really a good 1-2 punch. I feel like Cortland Sutton and Marvin Mims, that right there would be a solid 1-2 punch. Like I said earlier in the season, when Jerry Jeudy went down, they could be potential makings of like a DT and, ES10. So, a little premature. They got to play together a lot more first and, develop together. But that's that. One more thing before we get into the injury report. I know I've been rambling for a long time. Apparently, Sports Illustrated says Sean Payton's seat could be warming up. Really? Come on. You really think that Sean Payton's on the hot seat? You get a Hall of Fame coach that comes in and the roster isn't what he thought. The roster top to bottom just isn't good enough to compete. You want to fire him, so you just want to keep firing head coaches over and over and over and over again and hope that one sticks out? No. You can't just keep doing that, You got to stick with one damn coach. Build around that coach. Get him what he wants. Get him what he needs. And go from there. You can't just keep doing it. Honestly, where they first screwed up is when Joe Ellis vetoed Kyle Shanahan coming to Denver. When he wanted to. He wanted to come, but he vetoed because he had problems with his dad, Mike Shanahan. That set the Broncos back years and possibly decades. Sean Payton's a proven head coach. I honestly, he doesn't have much to work with on this team. The roster just top to bottom is not good enough. So that's kind of my input in that. I honestly don't think they should get rid of him. I would keep him around. Sean Payton doesn't really strike me as the head coach of a team that's, looking to rebuild. I hope he would stick around and, build the team up to where it, needs to be. But that's a different topic for a different video. Anyway, finally, starting into the actual preview. So we'll go with the injury report here. We'll start out with the Chiefs home team. Travis Kelce, ankle, did not participate. I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. He's probably going to play. And yeah, crazy thing is that, very short turnaround for both teams, to be honest. I think this is the only time I'm going to have a short turnaround. I made a recap video yesterday. making the preview video today, so busy uploading schedule for me. Nick Bolton limited, Matt Dickerson limited. Was that George Karlaftis was limited? Mike, was it Dana? He was full. Trey Duffy full. L'Jarius Sneed full. Kadarius Toney full. And Drew Tranquil was full. For the Broncos, injury report not too big. DJ Jones did not participate though. Limited with the knee, with the D-line that's already been pretty bad. Kind of need as much players on the D-line as possible to play in this game. Baron Browning was limited. I don't expect him to play. I think he'll play next week against Green Bay. Or actually, I think they have a bye and then Green Bay. Could be wrong, but yeah, next game against Green Bay, whenever that is, I believe he'll play in that. Cushenberry limited. Mike Purcell limited. Justin Simmons limited. And Javonte Williams limited. Javonte Williams, who knows? He might play. He might not. To be honest, I would be okay if he didn't. I mean, you don't want to risk him, re-injuring something. And, I trust Samaje Perine and Jaleel McLaughlin. I mean, Jaleel, I make a play, McLaughlin, he'd be making plays. So it's like, it's exciting watching him, get more carries. He's one of the more exciting players, young player. He's one of the more exciting young players, tongue-tied, on this team. And he's one of the players that, I'm excited to actually watch that still plays for the team. So definitely want to see him get more carries and, get as many reps as possible because he may get a bigger role next year. So that's that. Go to depth chart, Kansas City. Look at matchups here. We'll look at their starters, top to bottom. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes been a thorn in our side. Undefeated against us since he came into the league. Isaiah Pacheco, he is a really good runner. I mean, the Chiefs have depth at running back. I mean, Pacheco, Jerick McKinnon, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, they're stacked in their running back room. And with the defense is giving up like 200, 300 yards a game, they're going to have a plan in place to slow down the Chiefs running game or they're going to be in big trouble. Wide receiver room, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Montreal, Washington, former Bronco there. Sky Moore, Justin Watson, Kadarius Toney. The wide receivers, they're okay. I feel like they've been better in the past. Obviously, when they had Tyreek Hill. Who's that dude that went to the Jets? The quick guy. I cannot think of the name off the top of my head right now. But, for some reason, I feel like their wide receivers always get open. So it's going to be a problem, especially Travis Kelce. I mean, even though he's questionable to play in this game, he's always open against us. Like, we have not had anybody that can cover him since probably Danny Trevathan. That was almost a decade ago. So, yeah. I mean, if he doesn't play, who knows? I feel like Travis Kelce's played every single time against the Broncos. I mean, maybe, Patrick Mahomes struggles a little bit with Travis Kelce. I mean, he did struggle in that first game without him against Detroit. So, Travis Kelce not play, that has got to be a breath of relief for the Broncos defense because they're going to have to find a way to cover their receivers because, like I said, they always get open, especially Travis Kelce. I don't know how the hell he does it, but he always gets open. Their O-line's pretty good, except for Jawan Taylor. He's probably a guy who Chiefs fans complain about. He gets a lot of penalties. Hoping that he does that in this one. We'll see. Defense, Chris Jones, probably one of the best, D linemen in the league. So you got to watch out for him. I feel like he has big games against the Broncos. They're going to have to come up with a game plan to slow him down. Nick Bolton, I think he's out. That guy, I'm pretty sure he's the dude who scooped up the fumble. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. But, he has big games against the Broncos. I mean, the Chiefs' defense on paper doesn't really look scary to me, but they have great chemistry. They are coached very well. And, they do what they need to do to get the job done. Their best corner, probably L'Jarius Sneed. Justin Reed, safety, So, special teams, Harrison Butker, he's a really good kicker. Tommy Townsend, their puncher. So, that's the roster. 3 keys for me in this one, though. And then we'll go into a score prediction. So, number 1 for me would have to be limiting Patrick Mahomes is big plays. I mean, the dude, it still haunts me to this day. I mean, when they played in Denver and he hit Jerick McKinnon on the sideline, I believe he literally, I think he threw a no-look, like sidearm, something like that. And to this day, it still haunts me. It's like, come on, man. Like, how is this guy doing that stuff against the defense? That was when the defense was actually considered good. But, I mean, gonna have to limit. I mean, he likes to take shots down the field. The only corner that I feel safe with is Pastor Tane. He's probably gonna match up with Marquez Valdez-Scantling. That's what I'd have to guess. Hopefully Kadarius Toney has another Butterfinger game. Did that against Detroit, hoping that happens for us. And then, I mean, a second key here would probably be establishing the run. I mean, last week, or yesterday, Broncos didn't really do a very good job doing that. They, ran the ball pretty well with Jaleel McLaughlin, and then they just stopped. I was like, oh, okay, so we're just going to stop doing that. And then they started to get pass happy, and that's when turnovers started. And, they need to just be consistent. I mean, when they were running the ball well against Chicago, it opened up the passing game, and that's why Russell Wilson looks so good. But also the O-line protected well. It's going to be up to them to, protect well again, especially because this is one of the best teams that the Broncos have faced so far this year, other than Miami. So, yeah, the offense is going to have to, be almost perfect in this one if they want to have a chance, especially mistake-free. And then my third key here, I think they really just have to hang around. I mean, they could be down by single digits, in the fourth quarter. Last time the Broncos won a game against Kansas City, it was in Arrowhead. They're going to Arrowhead this Thursday Night Football. I believe that was Monday Night Football that they won. It might have been Thursday Night Football that they won in Arrowhead. It was 2015. I mean, that's how bad it is. And a lot of Broncos fans are not optimistic this week, and I totally understand why. But for the Broncos to get on the right track, to turn this franchise around, you got to snap this streak. And this would be a great week to do it. I mean, even though the season's looking like another lost season, if you could just get a win over Kansas City and snap the streak, I feel like that would take a lot of stress off of Broncos country's shoulder. I mean, just be competitive again. I mean, get a win against them every now and then. I mean, you've lost 15 in a row. I mean, it is just embarrassing at this point. I mean, when you look up, Broncos versus Chiefs on Google right here, first thing, who's favored to win? Has Chiefs has Chiefs by 10.5. The second thing that's been looked at, have the Broncos ever beaten Patrick Mahomes? I'm not going to answer that. Have the Broncos ever beaten the Chiefs? Yes. It hasn't been for a few years, but yes. How many games in a row have the Broncos lost to the Chiefs? We will not talk about that. Who is the Broncos' biggest rival? I actually want to see what this is. The Raiders? Okay. What are the odds the Broncos have of winning the Super Bowl this year? Plus 13,000. Okay, we are going to get on to the score prediction here. Obviously, coming off a short week, the Broncos lost to the Jets at home. They have started out the season 1-4. I was reading something earlier, and somebody mentioned that the Lions started out 1-6 last year, and they went on to finish 9-8, barely missing the playoffs. Now, you think that the Broncos can do that with this current roster? I'm not sure. You have the Chiefs in the next 3 weeks, twice. So, obviously, one on the road, one at home. Going on the road this Thursday. And I've predicted the Broncos so far in my prediction videos to win 4 and lose 1. And that was against all the other times except for Miami. I actually predicted Miami to win. And unfortunately, I'm going to pick Kansas City to win this one 34-24. I mean, until the Broncos prove me and the rest of Broncos country wrong, then I can't pick them. I mean, I picked them over and over and over again the last, 7 years to win. And they don't do it. They got to snap the streak for me to have confidence, in picking them to beat this team. That's just how it is, unfortunately. I mean, it's just embarrassing. I mean, like I said, if they were able to get this win, that would be a huge step in the right direction, because you can't, get to where you want to get. If you want to ever win a Super Bowl again or even make the playoffs, you can't lose 15 in a row to an AFC West opponent. Or more. Who knows? You lose this game, that would be 60. You lose the next, that would be 7. That's a full regular season, ladies and gentlemen, of games that you've lost in a row to this freaking team. So, I still care right now. I want to get this win just to snap the streak. Even if they miss the playoffs, which it's most likely to happen, just snap the streak. I mean, hopefully they play like they have nothing to lose. And, when teams play when they have nothing to lose, it's a scary thing. So, but I'm going to take Kansas City, like I said, 34-24. But I hope I'm wrong. Reading this from Albright. I got 2 more things, and then we're going to end it here. Broncos fans legitimately want players to torpedo their own tape in an effort for the team to draft players to replace them. And the best part is they want to draft a quarterback, which is in the top 10 problems it isn't in the top 10 problems they currently have, and put him behind this offensive line and ruin him. Kind of got a point, but, I mean, I don't know. I feel like they should just take best player available when hopefully they do a rebuild. Another crazy thing that I did not think of, Broncos are 1-4. So are the New England Patriots. They're 1-4 as well. And, hey, they have Bill Belichick. I mean, come on. So you got Bill Belichick, Sean Payton's teams, both 1-4. How crazy is that? But anyway, hope you all enjoyed the video. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Video running a little bit longer than normal, but, short week. Trying to come up with, a little extra things. Maybe came up with a little too much extra things. But anyway, hope this video, you guys enjoyed. Sub, like, and see what happens. See you guys after the game on Thursday. Other than that, go Broncos. Peace.